stuff in life.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Hello, everyone. We are getting signed on to YouTube and we will be right with y'all.
Hi, Cynthia. Were you raising your hand earlier, Cynthia?
Cynthia, come on in. Does everybody remember Cynthia? She's like one of the
I
original.
it doesn't ring a bell to me right now, so I don't know.
Kevin, she may have been before you. She was like one of the
Yes.
original rock stars.
She is an OG.
She's a definite OG back in the day. Um, she's mastered a lot of things.
Oh my. Yeah.
So she's got some interesting stuff to talk about tonight. So I hope she can come in. And Cynthia, you may have to, if you haven't been on in a while, you may need to allow your camera again. See if that helps you come in. But come on in, everybody. While Cynthia's getting her camera figured out, I hope she'll come in and be able to talk to us. Let's run down through announcements real quick. First of all, um, thank you for all the love and prayers for our little Maddox, his MRIs today. Hopefully, we'll find some answers out for our boy. Thank you for all of you that are over in the group cheering him on. It really picked up his spirits because he's been really down a little bit on this. So it really picks up his spirits for you guys to jump in and encourage him just like we're encouraging everybody. So it's just thank you. We really appreciate the help of trying to get a 12-year-old into ketosis is not easy. So I guess it's one of those things when we're sitting back and thinking how all of us adults are struggling. He's 12 and it's not an option anymore. We've got to do this. Seizures are the one thing that nutritional ketosis is truly allowed for and pushed on. Hang on, we got some background noise somewhere coming in. There we go. Um,
I thought that was Lance humming.
Nope.
come on. So, but thank you for all the stuff for Maddox, and he's going to be over in the group there. So keep pushing him along too. He's my little buddy, and he's struggling right now. So we appreciate your love and support and prayers and everything for him. Hopefully, we'll have some answers soon. Second announcement is next week is the fifth week of the month. So we will not have class next week, but we will keep going just like normal. I am going to try to go live in the or in the Facebook group if I can figure that out next week.
Ha.
So watch and see. I'll post before I am if I'm going to do it once we get a schedule figured out and everything for next week, kids and stuff like that. So I will post it over there, but I'm going to try to go live and just jump on and try to help everybody out. So
We will be having support group though, so don't. That was just the paid classes aren't happening next week. Support group is.
yeah, so we will be there. We'll pick up fresh the first week of July for the classes. So we will get there. Lenny, nice to meet you. Glad you're here. I love
Absolutely.
seeing new names and being able to put faces over. Um, will you get him and check see if he's okay?
Hello.
Hey, sorry. Um, got our
What's up?
little Maddox
Yes, we
call.
are.
But
Doors
it's I
on.
love to be able to put faces with a name. So welcome, and we're on trying to
All right.
get to know everybody and support each other and everything. So sounds like our little buddy's on his way in. So sorry about that.
Okay.
You guys will get to hear it.
All right, but
Get to see our guy. So okay, so come on in. Lance and I just finished our 72-hour fast. We're coming in. I stopped a little earlier today with Maddox. I was trying to get some dinner going with food going with him, and of course, I licked the damn spoon. I did not follow my own rule and put my mask on. Normally, when I'm cooking for the kids, I put my mask on, and I was just busy and going 15 directions and did not wear my mask in my own kitchen, and I screwed it up. So it was only about 2 hours short, but still ticked me off that I made it that far perfectly clean and messed it up by talking and cooking and flinging around the kitchen. I opened up a snack for Maddox of a meat stick and a little cheese tray thing and opened it up and popped one in my mouth. And it was like, yep, screwed that up. But, anyways, other than that, we did a great 72. We pushed through this one. Lance got some stuff, more stuff in than I did. I was working, but he did a
I did a sauna last night. After spending all day in the 90-degree shop, I went and did a 30-minute sauna at 138 degrees, then jumped in the cold plunge right before a thunderstorm. So I mean, I felt great. I ended like today I posted my numbers. I had a DVR of 25 this morning, and I had a DVR of 25 this afternoon, right before I broke. So my glucose was 66 this morning, 62 this afternoon. So this 72 hour really rocked out for me.
yeah. So again, the inspiration for those of you that your numbers kick right in, I love it.
She hates it.
Again, it's just I'm one of those, I normally on a 72-hour fast, this is what works for me, but man, does it take me time to get my body back in gear and roll it in the right direction. I woke up with zero point 0.8 ketones this morning and it's just frustrating. So I've been perfectly clean and pushed through it. But again, it's one of those, I know this works. I just have to keep going, and it just takes my body a little bit damn longer to get going. So it's one of those, but I love watching how I know this works. And I guess watching Lance do it and watching the confirmation of everybody's numbers, it's just good for my soul. And those of us that do struggle, our hormones don't just kick right in and everything just kick right in automatically. So it is nice to see those of you that do. It is such a blessing to know we are doing the right thing, we're on the right path, and it's just takes some of us a little bit longer than others to get going. So, Kev, come and check in. I know sometimes you got to run early, so come check in, tell us what's going on, and fill us in.
I'm good tonight.
Are you?
Nothing's going on. I did 72s the previous 2 weeks, so I didn't do one this week. And I still, like I told you yesterday, my energy level is through the roof again today. So I'm still doing the right things, I gather.
Absolutely.
And Lenny, I know you're new to the group, but anytime you can watch Kevin's success story, I mean, he's one of those men. He has mastered the numbers and he knows how to do this. Like he knows his body like the back of his hand. So
I think that's the key too. Kevin knows his body and how it reacts to whatever he puts in it. And I think that's a big key because he pays attention. He doesn't let anything go by him. And he's smart enough to say, nope, that doesn't work. I'm going to do it this way. And he knows about the chemistry enough to make the correct change at the correct time.
And funny you say that. That's why I'm not doing a 72. I'm trying something out. We'll talk about it some other day, but nothing drastic. Just every nuance, can make or break you in this. You know that.
Yep.
I love that you're willing to guinea pig though. So
He's that experiment.
that one off was that N equals 1 experiment. So I love it because we can all learn from that. What works for one of us. Once you learn master this, the steps in the chemistry shift, like Cynthia, I can't wait to get to talk to her here, but she's mastered it. Like she knows this chemistry shift long term, how we do it, what we do, but we still got to tweak it.
And I will go back to say that Kevin knows where he laid his foundation correctly. He knows the steps front to back. So if he needs to back up at one point, he knows exactly where to go. And we always talk about that in the early steps. You need to lay that foundation correctly, brick by brick, because you will always rely on that through your journey to go back to. As you progress, you always have that good solid base to return to get everything reset and get back in gear.
I think that is the beauty of it is drboz with a 12-step program, you can't hopscotch through it. You've got to do it step by step by step, building that foundation as your body gets ready for one step and masters that, then you move to the next. Because a lot of people want to jump in and you jump in, you want to jump in, you're excited, you get going, and you want to jump to that 1 meal a day. You can't do that. Those things, we've got to get those fat-based hormones working. You don't jump straight into fasting. You got to get fat adapted. You got to wake all those hormones up, and you got to lay that foundation so that when later on, because I'm telling you, if you look back at my OGs originally, like back at the Cynthia days, if we all tried to push through those moments, we tried to hopscotch through and pushed faster than our bodies were ready. And I will tell you, every one of us would crash and burn and had to go back and start over and do it right. So save yourself the hassle and just stay focused one step at a time, and we'll get you through those steps. And when you're struggling, that's when we shoot clean up and we say, hey, what are we missing? We'll figure it out. So welcome aboard, Kev. Have a good night.
Thanks, Kevin.
Got to run. Come on in, Audrey. We just want to listen to Audrey talk because her accent is so beautiful. So.
Yep.
Thank you. I don't know if you saw, I posted my numbers late my Wednesday evening, and I was so encouraged. That sardine fast worked so well. Even my husband's going, wow, wow. Must admit, I'm not fond of sardines. They went down and there was no reaction. But yeah, not my favorite food. Not by a long shot.
But it does wonders.
It really does. So, and it wasn't as tough as I thought it would be.
Yep.
I read your post there, embracing the suck. And kind of, yeah, it wasn't as bad. Everybody else says now I'm white knuckling it through day 2. I didn't have that issue.
Good for
And
you.
my husband and I did it together, and so it was so
Wow.
good that I didn't have to cook for him. That could have been, a much more difficult problem to solve. But he did a clean fast, and my numbers were much better than his.
Good deal.
Nice.
Yeah, I was very surprised because he's been doing keto for much longer. I had that break in South Africa. Well, there we go. I was so chuffed. That's me. Going strong.
Great. Good job.
Good job. I'm proud of you. And you
We
know what?
didn't quite get to the 72 hours because here in Australia, it's pitch dark by 6. And I wanted to eat just before
Yep.
it got dark. So we
Good
broke
choice.
at 71.
Good
Yeah.
choice.
Oh, okay.
Good
Okay.
choice. No harm, no
Yeah,
foul.
I thought that was fine.
Yep.
And I love that you're pushing through on that sardine challenge because
Yeah.
it's not an easy challenge, especially for those of us that don't thoroughly enjoy them or
No.
even remotely like them. But again, we can do hard things and they go
Mhm.
down. It's
Mhm.
right. They're never going to be my favorite food, but again, I love what they do for my body, and sometimes they just are what we need. They're always a simple, easy tool to have in your toolbox, and it works. I
Yeah,
can't
it
find
does.
there's nobody it doesn't work for. Even I don't care how much you don't like them, chuck it up and get them down. If I can suck it up, so can everybody else, and it's just one of those. You can ask him. He laughs every time
I
because
do.
he.
It's hilarious.
I just stand over the
She looks
kitchen
at me and
sink.
her eyes are like this. She's bugged out. She's like, I'm like, hold it down.
Like it's going down. But they work. And it is just, I literally, it's almost just that bullheaded thing now. It's like they are going down because I need these in my body. And it's just, but it works. So I applaud you for pushing through it because a lot of people just walk out and say, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's like, yes, you can. We can do
Yeah, you can.
hard
Yeah.
is sitting and watching them put chemo in my body. Hard is, having a heart attack and losing a limb because you can't get your glucose under control. That's hard. Hard is
Yes.
not eating
And-
something I don't like.
And the
Like,
thing
it's
is,
annoying.
I don't think it's necessarily the sardines. I mean, yes, they're beneficial for you, but you get more learning out of being able to control yourself to do one thing and stick to it
Yep.
for that amount of time. I mean, it's the same thing with a fast. I mean, I had motivation this time. I'm doing it for Maddox, and if a 12-year-old can do it, I can certainly do a 72-hour fast. No problem. And I went right straight through it. I did have some moments I almost broke last night. I always have a hard time on the Tuesday night, the second day, the 48 hour. Once I get over that hump, that seems to be my tough period. Like hers will be like that 24 to 36. Mine is the 48 to 50 hours. I'm like, I'm ready to
He's a
eat.
bear.
So,
Yeah,
but
I agree with you.
But
48
it's that-
hours was the tough one.
Yeah.
But Charles just said, no, you're not eating. Oh, all right.
exactly. And that's I did that
Yeah.
to myself too. And it was
Yeah.
it's a mindset. You're learning a mindset to be able to be in control.
And I will share one thing with everybody. Anybody that's getting ready to try a sardine challenge or a fast, I will tell you now, Maddox is he's my little baby. He's my baby. He's my grandson. He's the youngest of the crew. He's the
The only boy.
He's the only boy in our field of estrogen. So the kid he's just Nana's boy. He is just my buddy. And I will tell you, when I took the focus off of me and I took the focus off of Lance and I quit worrying about us adults that are whining and moaning and groaning, and I'm looking at this 12-year-old little boy that has to learn to function out in a world
Don't cry.
that has to learn to function out in a world that doesn't live this way. At
Yeah.
Nana's house, it's safe. When he's home with mom and dad, it's safe. There's no other choices.
Yeah.
We do this wholeheartedly. So when he's home, it's safe, but he's got to learn to live out in the world and stay in ketosis. When we took the focus off of us and our adult issues of being crybabies and addicts and fighting all the stupid things that we argue and fight and moan and groan about, when I took the focus off of that and we nailed it and said, you know what, if we're expecting a 12-year-old kid to do this, we can do it. And I'm telling you, it made this fast not even a question. When you're doing it for somebody you love and praying about somebody you love or somebody that's got it worse off than you or somebody you have an emotional attachment to or something, I'm telling you, it's a game changer. So don't be afraid to use that. And it's been one of those, it's not about us right now.
Yep.
It's about him. And it really is one of those tools that just made my Nana's heart work. But we got through it. And I'm just so proud and thankful that how it changed the mind shift. It's like, it's not even an argument. Don't even come home and whine. Nope. We're not,
Yep.
not even doing it. So,
But good job, Audrey.
Good job,
That's
Audrey.
awesome. You
Yeah.
guys rocked it out on yours. So
yep.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, Lisa, come on in. Where's Keith hiding at?
If you look through the
I see him.
thing there, he's doing what do you call those crawls? Crab crawls?
Glutes.
Yeah, that's what he's
Oh.
doing.
Nice.
I saw Kevin going, "What's going on over there?"
Didn't I see that move on SpongeBob SquarePants?
You may have.
Yeah.
There it comes again.
Hey, we got to multitask where we can.
Oh my gosh. So we had dinner with some friends while we were in Tampa for our checkup, and it's a family. The daughter is 20, and they had just started thinking about what it would be like to go through ketosis. And so we gave them your information, Tammie, so you may see
Sweet.
new people coming through. But one of the things that we talked about, because she's very obstinate, and even though she's 20, her parents, am going to say, have to treat her like a child because she chooses to act like one. So, and that's what we tell our kids. When you act like an adult, then we can treat you like an adult. But if you're acting like a child, then we treat you like a
one.
child. Right.
She has that problem sometimes too.
So so does our ex-wife. So because sometimes we have to treat her like a child. But one of the things that as we were having dinner together, one of the things that came up is, and I thought about this earlier when you were talking, Tammie, do you want to do hard or do you want to do harder?
Yep.
Because there is no easy. It's just
Choose your battle.
choose your hard. Do you want hard or do you want harder? And so you choosing to, press through, even though you're not seeing the numbers that you want, the whole 9 yards, that's just you choosing hard instead of harder. Because to give up and go back to the other way because you're not seeing it is ultimately harder. So,
Yep. Absolutely.
So we're doing pretty good. I admit I am not getting up early enough to check my glucose. I wake Keith up.
But I am.
He is doing great.
Yeah, there you
He's
go.
getting up and checking and everything is great. I wake him up. I'm not sleeping well, so I wake up cranky. And part of that is the glucose CGM it's going off 2-3 times a night.
Oh.
So
I'm trying to talk her into taking it off.
I'm taking it off once I
Hey.
get past I need to wean myself completely off of the semaglutide. And so, because that's the marker, I know that the semaglutide is acting out when it causes my blood sugar to tank. So, but anyway, I know that I'm sleeping or trying to sleep. I'm staying in the bed an extra 30 to 45 minutes, and by then my glucose is rising. So, I have to do a better job at that. So, and I know that that's the issue because my ketone count has been really good. And we know those two things don't coexist. So high glucose and high ketones don't coexist. So if my ketones are high and my glucose is still, 85 to 90, I know it's because I should have gotten up 30 to 40 minutes earlier. So, so as we are scaling down to 2 meals a day and tightening our window to 6 hours, I have chicken that I put on the grill partially so I can get some bones for bone broth. But how do you measure chicken? So bone in, skin on chicken. So do you measure it with the bone or do you take it off the bone to measure it by the ounce? So I think I know the answer, but I just want to be sure.
I usually, when it comes to chicken, I usually take it off the bone and just measure what I'm actually ingesting. I
All
mean,
right.
just
I just
and just
wanted to
know
be
with
sure.
chicken, and we were big chicken people too. So it's one of those, just know you've got to make sure you add the fats when you're eating chicken. You really do. It's just because it's so lean. It's so lean. You got to. What's it?
We're just talking. We're talking technical stuff
Okay,
here
you can't
behind
be
the scenes.
talking.
Sorry.
Can't be
Oh.
talking.
Did you have a second?
So that's what I was thinking, and I did notice we've had chicken as a part of our meal, not fully, but just a portion of the protein. Like I had chicken, and then I had 3 eggs for lunch, and then I had a little piece of chicken with breakfast. But I did notice that I'm not hungry, but I do notice that I'm not eating more this week than last week when we were eating beef and pork. So I'll be mindful of that. The other question that I had, I know we've had lots of conversations around bone broth, and I roast my bones. Actually, I put my bones on the Traeger. So
Ooh, smoked
yeah,
bones.
smoked bones. Thank you. I'm still a little brain fog. And so, but what are we supposed to do with these chicken feet before we put them in? Do they go in raw or
Yep.
okay.
Just
Just
throw them in.
throw them
Okay.
in and cook them till they disappear.
Yeah, I knew that
Stop freaking
part.
out your family.
No, well, it's just me and Keith, so he doesn't care. So
They call it
so
my witch's brew when I'm cooking
oh,
when I'm
She always tries. She always does it too when we're fasting, so it just makes it difficult. Don't do that.
don't worry.
Mm. Well, when I
So,
cook it for a week, or
oh, there's that.
5, 6 days, a fast is bound to be in there somewhere.
Right, especially for you guys right now. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
What you got, honey?
We asked the question yesterday, so I want to follow up with it. Both of my feet, my ankles to my feet are swelling as I'm increasing my salt.
Mhm.
And so I'm doing Baja, but right now my body is loving the was it
Redmond?
Redmond.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you mentioned about increasing the salt. And so that I guess my body will get me to a point and then it'll transition and then I'll start getting the swelling.
As long as you keep drinking and keep adding that salt, the edema should flow. It's just ask Kevin needs to be, fill you in on that. He's the one that just had to keep upping and upping and upping until he hit the amount that his body needed. It's crazy when you start, because all of us that are heart issues, it is a hard mindset. And it's one of those things you've got to listen to your body and keep going. But I know that it's a hard one to navigate because it's scary. But absolutely, I'd keep going on it.
Well, I got the confidence from it because when I wake up in the morning, my ankles are down. So I know it's just
Something you're doing.
it's really the chugging down of the salt water and the body's like too much, too much, too much. But really it's soothing. It's just
Right.
showing up like swelling.
It's still a process. You're doing a change process, and your body's getting used to it. And it's getting elements in that doesn't necessarily know what to do with right away, and you're training your body on what to do on that.
Stop storing it. You want to stop storing that water in the cell.
Yep.
You want it to.
And when it's fully hydrated, then it'll start flushing itself out. So, but kudos to you on switching because there is a difference between the two.
Mhm.
And one is a sea salt. The Baja Gold is a sea salt. The Redmond's is a mined salt.
Mhm.
And it comes from a mine in Utah. So you're going to get two different elemental things going on there. So, but if your body is liking it, your body's telling you, hey, I need some of this.
Okay.
I
So-
did notice that as we traveled last week, both of us had issues with swelling. I had not really been swelling a whole lot, which I would swell so much during the summer that I have a certain style of shoe I could only wear. And I actually went to a vein doctor, the whole 9 yards. My feet would get so big in the summer. And that's not been the case this summer, except for last week while we were traveling. So we're always mindful of water, but we flew to Tampa, we drove all around the Tampa area, we flew to St. Louis, we drove all around St. Louis, and then we drove back to Kentucky. So lots of logistic drama in travel, praise the Lord, it was all safe. But what can we do for future trips to try and offset all the sitting with,
You're not alone. You're definitely not alone. You can ask him every vacation. By the time we come home, I feel like I went backwards. It's where I struggle with vacation is because I just swell, my feet swell. And I think there's so much to it too that first of all the sitting that we're not used to doing.
Right, that's true.
And just sitting still. Even though I'm sitting here all day, I still walk back and forth between every class. I go to the bathroom, go get a drink, make a loop around the house, go whatever. When you're traveling like that and just sitting still and you're not moving, it's the muscles that help move all that fluid back up the legs and everything. So when you're just sitting, it's just pulling. So
Okay.
a plane ride, a car ride, all of that. That's where the ankle rolls, more frequent stops. As much as we're all trying to make good time in it, I think when we
Stop and walk.
Yeah.
Park at the furthest spot away and then walk around a little bit, get your blood moving, get things moving, and then get back in the car.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Take car break. Yeah, Kev paces in the planes or take car break. Yep. You gotta go to the rest area. Don't be afraid to, get out and walk around. And, Lance and I used to be on a mission. We have a condo in Florida, so we can leave Ohio and it used to be, get those 17 hours to pull into the condo. And now it's to that point, we're at that stage of life that, you know what, we're not in a damn hurry. That if it's going to take us 22 hours to get there, then we're going to, who cares? That it's just, our health is more important than sitting still that long and making it a problem.
I don't know what he's doing.
I was gonna ask Kevin, did he have something about the water and the salt? I know you mentioned that, Lance.
I do. And yesterday I was retaining water really badly because I was being a knucklehead and I ate things that were processed. So if you eat something that's processed on Sunday, you might not feel the effects of it until Tuesday. So you think you got away with it.
Right.
So if you're still having, even if it's a small amount of something here or there, that could be something that's impacting you.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
Tammie's right. I went from having to take a diuretic every day. My weight would fluctuate by 8 or 9 pounds. Those of us who have heart issues, we're not really supposed to get on the scale in the keto side, but on the heart side, you better be getting on that scale. And 6, 8 pounds a day. It's like,
Wow.
that's ridiculous. So I finally succumbed to the pressure of Tammie and her throwing me down the steps and beat me up every time I went over there. And I finally started eating enough salt, and I rarely take a diuretic.
Mhm.
I mean, I went from 20 some years, sometimes taking 2 a day,
Wow.
to taking none most of the time. Now, yesterday I had to take some because I was a knucklehead on Sunday
Mhm.
and ate some processed food, so shame on me.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
hang in there.
That's another good point. Because we were traveling, we didn't have as much control over what we eat. It's just harder. So we were able to plan, for the trip down, we got down there pretty well, but it's just easier when you can pack a cooler type thing, on a plane. So half of our luggage weight was ice packs.
Bacon.
Ice packs, bacon, and sardines.
Yeah, we did take sardines actually.
Yep.
So
I would say that I eat sardines 7 days a week for lunch.
Nice.
Perfect.
So in mine, I put
mayo.
mayo, sour cream, and just a Mediterranean. It's called
Zoog.
And I found that combination, you rarely taste the sardines. So I heard someone over here talking about, the just getting through it. You have to make it taste like something else. But for me, I enjoy sardines, so for me, it's not work. But I'm just speaking to someone who, challenged and knowing that the powerhouse that sardines bring. So just want to encourage somebody with that.
Absolutely.
You got to get them in.
I found too that I like the sardines in water, not necessarily the oil, because I drain all the water off, and
That's where the smell's at, I noticed
they
too.
seem to have a better taste than the ones in the oil. So I just hit them with maybe a little mustard or a little hot sauce, and that's it.
I admit I haven't started them, so but I'm
Well,
continuing to go down, and I'm not choosing to go down a path I don't have to go down until I have to go down.
Mike,
David,
That's
so you're
so politically correct.
Yes,
yeah, but the commitment is we went to Sam's and bought a case of
Costco, yeah.
Costco.
Our Costco, I meant to ask, but they are currently out of the ones that he likes. So, which is just a regular, I think we mentioned he doesn't like the smoked ones. So
Yeah.
these are just the regular ones in olive oil, and that's it. Sardines and olive oil, that's it.
that's actually what you want.
Yeah.
That's either
So,
water or olive oil, but
right.
just plain ones is what you want to get.
So our Costco only had the smoked ones, but while we were in St. Louis, once we transitioned from a plane to a car, they had the ones that we usually buy from our Costco. So we bought a whole case
That's
of
right.
sardines so that we could put them in the back seat and bring them
Yep.
home. So
I'm telling you, everybody, when you go to do that, we even have a page over on our Amazon store that we put, and we order them too, but we order 12, 20 at a time, whatever. You just stock up and do it. Get it. It's too stupid simple. It's too easy. It works, and they're cheap.
Yep.
It's one of those. Get the best ones you can get. And you're still cheap. So it's just be mindful of it. But good job. Good
Yep.
job. So
Nice job, guys.
yes, nice work, guys. And I know it's a process, and you're getting there. So
Thank you guys for the encouragement. It's wonderful. I'm now fasting 17 hours.
Good job.
nice.
Just went to the 6 hours. And even then I'm ready for us to go to 4 hours or 5 hours, So
You
but I
can
know
hear it in you guys' language. You can hear you're getting ready. Your eating window is tightening up. You're not quite so hungry. You're not eating
Yeah.
as much. Those are all the words that you're saying that you're becoming fat adapted. So
Yeah.
you are ready to start tightening that window. Now you got to get mentally as prepared to be able to tighten that window, because as you tighten that window, yes, your chemistry might be ready and loving it, but your head has to be ready to not snack all night.
Because
Well,
that's a big shift going from 2 meals a day to 1 meal a day.
Right.
And don't take it lightly, because that is a big mental game. Your body will transition easier than your mind will.
Mhm. Yeah, we have done 72-hour fasts before.
But it was only for 3 days, and then we would go back to
Yeah.
our low carb, so
Yeah.
really not this form of discipline.
Right, not weekly, but several times over the last 5 years, we've done 3-day fast. So we're not new to it, but not in this context, not this.
Right.
So
Yep. And it is a
deal.
different ball game. So
absolutely.
congratulations, and we will rock it out with you. So you got this.
Good job, guys.
Good job, guys. Come on in, Lenny. Do you want to check in, or are you just listening in today?
All right, I'll check in.
Okay, come on in.
Yeah, it's nice to meet everyone. And I'll just briefly tell you a little bit about me real quick. I do live in Pennsylvania. I live in New Freedom, Pennsylvania, not far from Baltimore, Maryland. I've been doing keto for, I would say, probably at least 10 years. Started off with like the Atkins thing. And I originally weighed 312 pounds. I went down to 170.
Wow.
And yeah, it was a big thing. I was also in love at the time, so that helped.
Yeah.
But so I have two big addictions. I'm addicted to alcohol, and I am addicted to food. Food being number one, alcohol being number two. So I struggle with weight. Most of my life, I fluctuate every year by about 50 to 60 pounds. And I use food to just make myself feel good, and then eventually the weight comes on, and then I hit the alcohol. It's something I've struggled with. But anyway, so I've been trying to do a strict keto diet, and I've read so many different things about it. I stumbled across drboz, and I fell in love. Like
Good
she
deal.
is the first person that ever like put it in a good perspective for me, in a way that I could understand. I went out and bought a Keto Mojo right away. I bought two of them. And so I checked my ketones and my glucose every day, twice a day. But I never realized that the amount of protein I was taking was keeping my ketone levels down, and it was also raising my glucose.
Yep.
So I have that old school mentality where, yes, I'm a man, I need a lot of protein. And so anyway, I got that down. I stay around 70 grams of protein. I do like 180 grams of fat a day. And, my ketones are still pretty good. But I'll have to tell you, when I did this sardine thing, and I'm glad I did because I do like sardines. So I have no problem with it. And I was doing 4 cans a day. Today's my fourth day. I'm still doing them, but I was very surprised as to how much it kicked my ketones in, brought my glucose down a little bit. But I am very amazed that I have no hunger whatsoever, and like I have energy, like unbelievable. And so I think I'm gonna stay on the sardines for another few days. And also since I went out the first day I went out and I bought the sardines, I went to the local grocery store, I went to Walmart. I think I bought like 6 different types. And the one I like the best is the Wild Planet, and they're just in straight water. And all I do is I do add a little bit of my own olive oil, but I put in mustard. I buy an organic mustard, and it's a spicy. But yeah, I love it. I'm glad what they've done for me. I didn't never thought my ketones would get up that high from just doing sardines.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so that's where I'm at. I did sign up, Tammie, the other day for your beginners class. For some reason, I tried getting in there last night, but I couldn't figure out the whole Zoom thing, or maybe I wasn't allowed. I don't know.
Nope, you should, if you're signed in there, give me a call or text me and I'll get on with you. If you're signed in and went through the course, you should be able to get in down through the course page and be able to get to all the links. So you should be able to get to everything now. So,
So do I have to actually finish the course, the things going through there in order to log on to the Zoom?
you have to, I know, watch a couple of them that are mandatory, but after that, you shouldn't have to. You should be able to click through
Okay.
them to get down there. But I can
All right.
walk you through that. We can double check through that for you. Go.
Okay. So
Take
are you gonna have that next Tuesday or no?
Not
No,
next
not
Tuesday because that's the 5th week of the month.
the following.
So
Okay.
the following week will start, but if I do a live, you'll be able to get on that. So I'll put a message over there in there for you. But just text me or message me and we'll get on live on a Zoom and I'll talk you through it. We'll go through it
Okay.
together. Make sure.
Yeah.
Lenny, a couple things I want to throw out for you. First of all, kudos to you for using sardines as a tool.
Absolutely.
Again, they are just one of those things. When we do Dr. Boz, when I coach her 21-day course, and anybody that will be signups will be getting next month, Dr. Boz's 21-day course. Well, we take 200 people through with that course, and you see 200 people's numbers get better with those silly sardines. It's a phenomenal. It is just one of those, we can moan and groan about them all day long, but it is phenomenal when you see what those things do. 200 people at one time, and Boz don't cut anybody no slack on
Nope.
him. She's one of those. It's unless you're dying and deathly allergic, the sardines need to go down. So it's one of those. I love it though because it is. It's one of those things all of us would whine about it, not do it, push it back. Oh, I don't like them. Oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, I don't. Shut up and eat them. I mean, it really is. It's just shut up and eat them. Get it over with. You spend more time moaning and groaning than we do sucking them down. So get them down. But kudos to you. And the other thing I want to share with you, Lenny, just know if you've been watching Dr. Boz, you know she's a brain doctor. You know, brains are her ultimate joy. Her ultimate goal is healing brains. That is why we do this. That is the repetition on the things that we do. That is what the support groups are all about, is healing the brain. And it's brains of addiction. So that is what she teaches. And that is where this whole keto journey is different doing this with her, because we are breaking the addictions in the brain. Those addictions in her brains course. I don't know if you've ever seen her brains course, but I teach her brains course. And when you go through those modules and you see what addiction does to the brain, and we'll see a spec scan of a meth addict, and you'll see a spec scan of a alcoholic, and you'll see a spec scan of every kind of drug addict there is. And you will see all these spec scans, and you get to the end of it, and carbs and sugar, a spec scan of a brain on carbs and sugar From the untrained eye, you can't tell a difference from a meth addict to a carbs and sugar. And when you see it's addiction in the brain is addiction in the brain. When you learn how to break the addictions, I don't know how much of my story you know, but I was on Oxycontin for 18 years after my chemo. And breaking that addiction, I truly relate it all back to if I wasn't able to get in ketosis and break the addictions in my brain from being on 18 years of that, I've never abused a drug, I've never drank, I've never done anything. But my body was so dang addicted to the Oxycontin for 18 years, 24 hours a day. He'd sit across the table from me, and you could set your watch by him looking at me and saying, "It's time for your meds." My eyes would turn instant bloodshot. I would get that sweaty, clammy, nasty withdrawal feeling. I would just, withdrawal kicks in an hour before it's due. And he would look at me and it's like, "It's time for your meds." But that, it's truly addiction. It is truly addiction in your body. So when you're saying you go back to the alcohol and gain the weight, I'm telling you, when you learn to break the addiction and you use this as a tool, you will be able to break every addiction in your life. You really will. And my heart's with you, and we got you.
Yep.
And just know I get it. It's not easy and it sucks, but I am telling you, this process between doing the nutritional ketosis and the brain health that you're going to have down the road, you're going to learn to navigate this ship, and you're going to come out of it and you won't be addicted, and you won't be wanting that. That will not be your final coping skill. That will not be what you turn to. So kudos to you and welcome to the club. We're just happy to have you as part of the family.
Good
Well,
job.
thank you. Thank
Hey
you.
man, I got one thing too. I can't wait to have you go through the beginner course because you'll learn about I don't know if you have chronometer yet or not. That is a very helpful tool in
I use it every day.
Do you?
Perfect.
Excellent. All right.
Nice.
And I'm surprised you only eat 180 grams of fat. That surprises me because I know that some of us are up in the 200s, almost 300 grams of fat a day.
Yeah, but you run your butt off, so.
I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Kevin does too. You have like a 3-to-1, not anymore.
Right. Well, until about 2 weeks ago, I was at 2 to 1.
2-to-1.
2 to 1. It was roughly 120 grams of fat and about 60 grams of protein. And that's why I'm doing some experimenting right now.
Cool. All right. Yeah, because I know that I run upwards of 3-to-1 protein to fat.
Oh, yeah. I've been
Or
at
fat to
3,
protein, I'm sorry.
3.5 to 1. Yeah,
Yep.
But
definitely.
we'll get there, Lenny, but welcome aboard. And
Yeah.
So just one quick question, Lance, is if you're doing that much fat with that little bit of protein, you must be doing a lot of extra butter or MCT or something.
I do a lot of butter. Sometimes I even do olive oil shots.
Okay, yep.
It's
All right.
stuff to get my fat intake in. I am very, very active though. I run anywhere from 12 to 15,000 steps a day. So
Okay.
I'm really active, so that helps rise that because I need the fat for fuel. So,
Okay.
but when I'm getting to the point now that I'm going to be probably a 3-to-1 protein ratio.
when we just did Maddox's number to get him hardcore into ketosis, this little guy needs almost a cup of fat a day. And when you
Wow.
make the visual of how many grams of fat you really truly need when you get your chemistry figured out.
It's an entire bar of butter.
But the visual, when I pulled that stick out, and it's that Kerrygold, so they're those wider, the regular normal square stick. Pull that Kerrygold out and show him, and it's like that's the visual that needs to go down every day. That's huge. That's a big change in what people are used to. I mean, it's just, I'm guilty of it as too. I mean, I will tell you right now, I'll put a couple tablespoons in a coffee. Come on, you can't. When I'll put a couple in my coffee, or I'll take a shooter or some olive oil, or I'll put some MCT in a coffee or a drink or something like that. It is nuts. I'm nowhere near close. Kevin came down, did my numbers with me, and he's like, "You ain't even close to your fat." And I'm like, "I am not." When I really, and again, shoot me because shame on me for not doing my chronometer like I should and putting it all in there, but it's that lesson learned. I know how to do it, but am I truly doing it? And when you figure out that I need a cup of fat a day, I ain't even close. A couple of spoonfuls in my coffee or a couple whatever, it is not even close.
Right here's Maddox chronometer. Maddox needs 152 grams of fat a day and 46 grams of protein a day.
So,
That's what his chronometer says.
and I think that whole thing of
And
Kerrygold butter is like,
he is, I don't know if you can see, I get it too close, but he is almost got his macros met today.
but
Good job.
getting the visual of how much fat we truly need to get this, because right now at the beginning of it, okay, you can't do that, guys. Sorry. Love you, man, but you gotta be quiet. The fat is locked in the cells. So it's one of those, you have to ingest that fat right now. And those of us that are not fat adapted or don't stay fat adapted, we have to keep ingesting that fat. And that's just hard to do. So,
and just remember, you're going from being a carb and sugar burner to a fat burner.
Yeah.
You're going to need to fuel the machine.
Yeah. And even people that have done low carb, I know like Lisa and Keith have done low carb for years, but low carb is still giving your body the glucose.
Yeah.
You're still letting your body run on glucose.
Thought we were doing something.
Yep.
Keith wants you to go into a little bit more detail on the 2-to-1 and 3-to-1. So I can explain it, but he wants
2-to-1 and 3-to-1 is what it comes down to is it, and it's another way to look at chronometer. When we first start, when you guys are first starting, I want everybody to go with chronometer and do the rigorous and all the things that we have in the lesson over there, where it's keto calculator, rigorous, and everything. Just like Dr. Boz has a start. That is where we all start. But as you navigate down through this journey, you will find that some of us have to go up to it's a 2-to-1 ratio. You know, it's too fat. For every gram of fat, you're going to have 1 gram of protein. So or vice versa, 1 gram of protein to 2. Sorry, I can't talk. 1 gram of protein to 2 grams of fat. And then some people need to bump it up to 1 gram of protein to 3 grams of fat. And it is just finding the ratio of where your chemistry kicks in. At the beginning, we keep it nice and tight just because it's easy to overeat on that protein. It's easy to get too much in you when we're trying to get that going. And we keep it nice and tight. But once you get that mastered and you're not eating your body weight as a side of beef every night, like,
why are you pointing at me?
I don't know. Just cause, but when you're not doing that any longer, then you can play with that protein and fat. You know, you can increase that.
We have Renfro as our scale, and it integrates into chronometer. So is it adjusting as our weight goes down, or do we have to make the adjustments?
Now, I don't know because I don't have that scale to go in there, but I know you need to go back into your settings as your weight shifts, because Lance ran into a problem with that too, because his fat drastically increased as he dropped weight, and it really changed a lot. So make sure every month or so you're going into your settings and chronometer, make sure it's correct, and make sure you have that slider scale that you can move to lose 1 pound a week, gain whatever, wherever your chemistry's at, or whatever your goal is. Make sure you're using that slider scale to do that, but update your weight in chronometer. That's a good point for everybody. Update chronometer. Don't just keep running on the same numbers forever.
Yep.
Like some of us did. Till Kevin gets it and tells me I can't do that no more.
It does help. And so Keith and I, as we learn how to use chronometer, the first thing that we do is copy yesterday to today.
Nice.
So we don't have to re-enter everything.
Yep.
And then we put in all of what we're going to eat for breakfast. So lunch is already set. We know exactly what we're going to eat as we are eating breakfast. And that helps us to make sure we hit our fat numbers. Keith has a challenge sometimes if he runs out of protein and still has fat left. He's like, I can't get this down. I'm like, dude, I got nothing for you.
I hear Tammie speaking to me.
Right. And I'm like, I can't help you. You are the one who chose to eat all your protein and still have fat left, but you got to finish your fat. So one of the things I'm with you, Maddox. I'm a stick of butter a day. Keith and I both are almost not quite. I think you get 12 tablespoons. We are at 10 or something like that. If it's 8, you get whatever. And so for lunch, my fat mixture is the sour cream and mayo. I add a little hot sauce so I don't have to taste the mayo. And then I melt 4 tablespoons of butter and mix it in to the sour cream and mayo and hot sauce. And by mixing it in, then it's actually nice and creamy. And I have 3 eggs for lunch and what protein of the day. Today it was chicken. Yesterday it was kielbasa because we had a little of that left over. But I just dump all that in a bowl and I have to sit. Because
I
so
know.
full. So
Right?
yeah. So, and then I take my supplements before I start because if I don't, I am not going to get them down. So I take my supplements in the beginning before I get super full.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So avocado oil is another good one to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but measure your fat out, Lenny. And then just mix it in.
You guys too, make sure if you're over in the course, go down on that beginner, down on the downloads, and you can download that fat guide. And I have a lot of different
Yes.
ideas over there. It has the hollandaise sauce, it has the eggs, all the different things for the fats. And there's a great little coupon over there for Bighorn Olive Oil Company.
Yes,
And I'm
Bighorn
telling
olive
you,
oil.
their olive oils, I can just take a shooter of it. I mean, I just
So
walk
smooth.
past it and take them down, and they have different flavors, and they're just infused. So it's not actual fruits or anything in it. So they do not mess up my numbers. I can get the orange infused olive oil, and it does not mess me up. They have basil, they have savory ones, they have citrus ones. I'm telling you, they are not the cheapest, but I absolutely love them.
Good company.
We've got a whole counter full, and they're good people. So get over there, use that coupon, and go over. But use that download to get all your fats and be working on that. We'll talk through that. But good job, guys. Cynthia, come on in. Okay, so anybody that doesn't know, I know we've got some newbies since Cynthia's been with us, but Cynthia is one of the original drboz OGs. I mean, she is just one of those that took this, reversed a whole lot of diseases, turned things around, and rocked her health out. And as some of us have found, we end up on this journey and we have had so much success with everything Dr. Boz teaches, everything. And it's one of those, most of us on this keto journey, you know, we don't worry about cholesterols, we don't worry about all the different things like that. But some of us have to. Some of us do have the struggle, and I'm one of them too. When I had my heart attack, I had to go in, and what it comes down to are those particle sizes. What are the sizes of your particles? And Cynthia, come on in, tell us a little bit what you've run into. And most of this is not caused by what we're doing right now, but it could either be like mine was induced from chemo and the prior ways that I ate. So there is finding a balance on what we do need to worry about now. Because most of us doing keto, most people do not have to go worry about, you want your cholesterol to be high. That's what's healing the brain, all those things. So come on in, Cynthia, fill us all in on what you're doing and let's talk about it.
Well, this has been quite a week this last week, and last Wednesday, a week ago, as a matter of fact, I having a pretty good day, and I was sitting here watching television, and all of a sudden I got real nauseous, and that passed pretty quickly, and then my heart started pounding, just bang, 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 really hard enough to rock my body from side to side, and thank heavens my husband Mike just never questions it. I say to got to go to the hospital, and he pops right up and away we go. And turns out I had atrial flutter, which sounds okay, but it's worse than AFib.
Yeah.
And they got me in the hospital and they gave me cardizem to convert that, and that was like feeling it. When that got into my system, about 3 minutes, 4 minutes, it felt like somebody flipped a switch and everything went back to where it should be. They didn't like any of my numbers, nothing. And so I wound up in Borges Hospital in Kalamazoo, my first ambulance ride. That was interesting. And I was just like, I don't belong here. I shouldn't be in here. This is silly. I could have driven myself, blah, 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 blah. But at any rate, tests up the yin yang Thursday and Friday. And I wound up in surgery on Saturday, and they placed 2 stents to clear 2 90% blockages. And I was told I was in congestive heart failure. And I was like, no, nah, And I don't know if the doctor said why she said that, but she said it. And anyway, it's been very scary. I go from no prescriptions at all to 7.
Woo.
I am on a statin. I'm on two blood thinners. I'm on Eliquis, and what's the other one? Oh, aspirin, and another blood thinner. There's lisinopril, and I don't remember what they are. Anyway, I had to make a huge, metoprolol. I'm on 2 blood pressure medications.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, I've been doing this for 5 years now, and it just really rocked my world because I thought I was doing everything right. Now, have I had cheats? Oh yeah. I've fallen off the wagon. We talk about falling into the garbage and climbing your way out. And yeah, I've done all that. But I keep coming back. I keep getting back in ketosis. And I would say 85, 90% of the time I am in ketosis. So I just was like stunned.
Can I offer something up to you?
Yep.
Just so you know, I think that if you weren't in ketosis, you may not have been able to get up and go to the hospital. I think that was the way we thought about her episode in Texas. If she wasn't in the shape and her body wasn't in ketosis as deep as it was, she'd have never got up off the floor of that plane. I think it sounds like a very similar situation to what she had. I mean, almost down to the T. I mean, she had 4 stents put in. You had 2. I mean, there is an age difference too. Don't get me wrong. But there,
I'm an
I
old
think,
lady.
hey,
I'm right up.
more power to you.
That's an honor.
More power to you.
It's an honor.
But I just think that if you weren't in the shape that you were, you may not have got up.
Yeah. And Cynthia, trying to shift that thinking into that. And this is where this comes across the board. We've all each got to be an advocate for our own health, and we've got to do what we truly believe in. I believe in this process. I believe in it with every cell of my body to the point I'll put my babies on it. I mean, I believe in it that deeply. And you have to have that kind of passion. But there also has to come a time, when Dr. Boz sat me down and showed us, when she literally took my numbers and said, here's what's happening. Yes, I worked so hard to get off every damn medication. I did all that work, and I know you have too. So you're how old now and had 0 medications, and you busted your butt to do that. So I know how hard that is, and I know how dedicated that takes to get there. So it's just one of those, it's hard. You've got to be confident to be able to make a choice that you can live with. And that is, my cardiologist actually said to me, if I didn't have the chemistry that I had, I wouldn't have made it off that plane. If I didn't have the chemistry. So those kind of things, when we get scared, it's easy to think, oh my gosh, what's the alternative? So the alternative is to go back to inflammatory foods. It's back to higher glucose. It's back to inflammation all in my body, which is congestive heart failure. It's back to all the things that I know destroyed me. So, am I on borrowed time? Probably. Am I here by the grace of God? Absolutely. But there is a part of we do have to take the blinders off a little bit and notice that sometimes we have to, I mean, Boz literally, she's like, Tammie, take the damn injection, because I was hell bent I was not going to put a medication in me. And she's like, take the injection. I take the Repatha to bring that cholesterol down because I have the dangerous size particles. And she's like, most people that do keto get those big fluffy cholesterols and the cholesterol goes high and it's all good. I am not one of them. So I have to make that call.
My cholesterol, I haven't had it checked in probably 2 years, but my triglycerides dropped through the floor, and my HDL went way up, and my LDL stayed the same. Now, whether it was big fluffy ones or not, I don't know.
Okay, so what you need to ask them for is to get an NMR.
Okay.
NMR is the particle size, the test that tests those particle size, and that will tell you, so you can make that decision that is best for you. And
Mhm.
you've got to be comfortable and be able to live with the decision you make. And I'm not saying I wouldn't tell you to do either way. I'm not going to tell you to go off your medications, but I am going to tell you, I would recommend you get that particle size so you can make an educated decision on what your body needs because it is
Right.
maddening. But to turn and jump ship to us is going back to what we work so hard to come out of.
But that's it. I don't see how I have gained too much in success,
Yep.
not only the weight loss, and I didn't have as much to lose as a lot of people, but I lost 65 pounds. That's nothing to sneeze at.
That's a lot.
And my hands are completely free of any arthritis, my knees, my joints.
I love it.
All the floaters in my eyes disappeared. And things like that. And it's hard. I'm very, very pale skinned, and I have not been burning like I
Yep.
would in the past.
Yep.
So that's a big deal. So there's too, and I'm wondering too if some of this cholesterol business and the blockages and everything is hereditary. Because my grandmother died in 1957 at age 82. Her legs were quite swollen. She wore pressure stockings. She walked with a cane. Delightful lady, but she died of heart and pneumonia. And then Mike reminded me that my dad used to take nitroglycerin. He had angina for most of his adult, well, he's probably 40, 50. And that could be very likely be hereditary. I think I wrote to you, Tammie, today that my brother had a heart attack, but I put that down to his marvelous personality. The man was an angry, angry person.
One of those brothers
Always
too.
angry.
Well, you also got to think about too, how many years before you even started keto did you do the wrong thing? You know what I mean? How
Most
long
of my
did
life.
how long did you build that up? And you fixed a lot of the short-term issues that you were able to fix. That was probably a lingering one that was building, building, building over time that you didn't get to. My dad is the same way. My dad is a very healthy guy. He's 85 years old, but he just had a stroke and his left carotid artery is 100% blocked. But
Wow.
His body rerouted it
his body rerouted
around
the blockage to feed the left side of his or the right side of his brain. So he's up and doing fine. He's doing what he normally does. He doesn't do it as fast. I mean, he recently he had a rhythm problem with his heart to where they put a pacemaker in, but he's been very healthy his whole life. But there's things that even he did the right things, he still had 100% blockages. So I don't quite understand it, but don't be so quick to say that you're not doing the right things.
But I think there's something too when you look back. Since I've been an adult, I've been in health and fitness my whole adult life. I mean, from dancing to personal training, fitness instructor, all of that. I ate clean. I wasn't the household that I was the crazy mom that sent my kid to school with a colon cleanse in his lunchbox. No kidding. I will never live it down. I am that mom. I was the weird mom that took the granola to the classroom for all the kids to eat, all that. I was that mom. I thought I was doing all the right things. I thought I was feeding my kids and my family healthy, clean stuff to break the trajectory of the crap that was in my family. Every female in my family has a cancer. I mean, it's god awful. I was hell bent. I was going to be healthy enough. I was going to feed my kids, so none of us had to deal with that. And then I'm dealt with breast cancer at 35 years old. So it's one of those, we think we're doing all the right things. But when we look back, I walked around all day long. I had two Vitamixes, one at my house and one at my studio. So I could teach everybody how to make this gallon thing full of fruit smoothies all day long. That's all I did. So can you imagine? I look at it and thought I was doing this big healthy thing and eating all these organic fruits and veggies and putting them in these smoothies and sending the colon cleanse to my kid at school. I mean, all the things I thought I was doing right. And I look at it now when I understand how to read that chemistry. I was hanging myself. It's death by 1,000 cuts. I mean, it just, we were building inflammation. We were building too high a glucose. We were building fatty livers. We were building just everything broken. And it's like you look at it, yeah, we're good until we're not. I mean, it's just that moment of, dang, if I looked, I can't imagine what my glucose was back then. Can you imagine all day long? I look at fruit now and my glucose shoots through the roof. I mean, it's one of those things when we look back at what we used to do, I think we're seeing so many of us that are surviving some of these big issues. And we're thinking, oh my gosh, I know what the people have said to me. I get it in my comments. I get it in emails every day of, yeah, how'd that work for you? How'd that keto journey work for you? I mean, I've had smart ass people literally say, how's that keto thing working for you when I had the heart attack?
I was really surprised when I talked to one of the doctors and I said, I just want you to know that I eat keto. And there was no blowback. There was nobody bouncing off the walls or, you stupid so-and-so. She said, I think that is a really good idea. We didn't talk about fat, but, she said, you're cutting out the breads, you're cutting out the sugar, you're eating whole foods, fruit. And she said fruit, but, meat and vegetables and fat is basically it. And you didn't
But how
have a
many of us are
problem with it.
surviving things that would never have been survived? Most people that
Right.
have 100% blocked carotid, they're not here to talk about it.
Yep.
When you have a
Right.
stroke, it takes you out. How many of us have had heart attacks? How many, Kevin's had heart issues. I mean, Cynthia, all of us. I'm alive to have 4 stents put in because I procrastinated.
And one thing, don't get discouraged about your meds right now. I mean, that's I could have named off the meds that you, because she took the same ones.
Exact same thing.
They have to make sure those pieces is stainless or whatever they put in your body. I know they use stainless with hers. They don't want it to come dislodged. So there is a time frame to where you need to take those meds to help your body to heal at that point. But there may be, don't forget though too, that there may be a point where there may be a time and place that those need to be reduced or eliminated at some point after healing occurs.
I remember one of them, he said, if I keep my numbers good and my chemistry stays good, give me a year of healing and let it, because he said they wanted it to be a smooth ramp up over those stents, not beating into it with a high blood pressure. So he said, give him a year. And there was a couple of them he did remove after that year.
I don't think she's not taking the statin. You take metoprolol and that's
and a baby aspirin.
And a baby aspirin.
Okay.
But my injection now too. I do the Repatha.
Well, they did say that, after a month I can drop the baby aspirin, but I got to keep everything else. And then they'll look at 3 months and then 6 months.
Yep.
And my personal doctor that is just an amazing woman. I gave her Dr. Fung's books and Dr. Bosworth's books, and I said, read these so you know what I'm doing, because I don't want to hear it when I come in.
Good idea.
Yes, that's cool.
I pay, I've bought several copies of the obesity code and several copies of both of Dr. Boz's books, and I kind of hand them out to individuals, and I don't know that it does any good, but and for the most part,
I'm trying. And you know what, Cynthia, I just applaud you and we love you and we are so proud of the journey you've been on. But keep walking and know and trust in your heart what you're doing. You've saved your life. You have saved your life and you're here to talk about it, because I really think we wouldn't be here. That.
You know what my husband did when he's listening to all of this. He's over there.
Hi, honey.
But he walks in with a bowl of sardines and mustard straight out of the can.
Nice.
What a nice hubby.
I know, and I'm just going, well, he loves them. So when he was a kid, they ride their bikes to the little corner store. They didn't have enough money for anything, so they have 10 cents. They'd buy a couple cans of sardines and a sleeve of crackers.
Yeah,
their lunch.
That's
I'm telling you, my goal in life, I'm going to learn to love those little boogers before I die. That's my goal.
We got it.
I love it.
Keep going,
Cynthia.
Keep going, Cynthia. We're praying for you, girl.
Yes. Come in and keep us posted how you're doing. I'd love to see you over in the group again. Dawn, come in, tell us how you're doing.
I'm doing well. I was a little late because I got my 2 mile walk in a little late today.
Nice.
Husband.
Totally excused.
Yeah, and it's been so nice here. There's no clouds in the sky. And this is Florida, so usually this time of year it rains every afternoon, but it's been so nice.
That's Ohio now.
So I'm enjoying it. I'm getting a nice tan, being outside every day. The vitamin D is good.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm doing well. I did a lot of food prep today. Put a bunch of eggs in the pressure cooker and made a whole big thing of boiled eggs and the brown butter bites, and I made a thing of bacon and stuck it all in the fridge, so I have no excuse to.
Nice.
And I think that's something I'm realizing. I've got to be diligent on the prep. If I prep ahead of time, getting through those times where the temptation is real. If I prepped, I'm good.
Yep.
So, we're talking about sardines. It's so funny because you're never gonna love them, Tammie. You're just not gonna love the sardines.
Right.
And I'm okay with not liking them. And I figure I can complain as long as I do it.
Yep.
Exactly. I'm doing both. I'm gonna complain and I'm going to eat them.
Absolutely. I love that. You're right. I'm gonna moan and groan and bitch about it, but I am going to eat them.
But I'll do it. Yeah. Now I got the last challenge that I did, I got sardines from Aldi's, and they had the ones in water, and I've had this stupid cat. I've had a hard time finding them the last time, a couple times I went, but they have the sardines in water. Now they have them in soybean oil and mustard sauce and all that. I don't want to get any of the sauces, and they were $1 a can.
Nice.
So
love it.
Yeah, if you can find them at Aldi's, it's a great place to stock up.
Well, that's where we get our butter, so we might as well grab the sardines too.
Yeah.
Although I kind of like the Amazon thing of just dropping them off on my door, so I don't have to.
Yeah, that's true. But their meat is pretty good. Their meat is really good.
Actually pretty good.
Yep.
The week before that, we bought some ribeyes, some really nice ribeyes, and
they have some good grass-fed beef there too.
And it's $4.99 a pound right now.
Yep.
And so you limited on 4 packs per visit or whatever. So I just buy 4 every time I go. So
you know what, too? I think I don't know how many of you do this or how many of you have it. We're in a small town, so we're new to some of these things. So we just got where they will deliver to your house. And there is some magic about not walking into a grocery store that I truly think it really helps our journey of I can get on that app and have it exactly what I need. There's no impulse buying. There's no, oh, that looks really good. There's none of that. And I love that we can do that and have it delivered at the door. And it's the same things over and over. We get our butter, we get our, bacon, we get whatever, and it gets delivered to the door and we don't have to go in. So if you struggle with impulse buying, use that, what's it called? Instacart. And have it delivered, because that really does help.
Yeah, it does. Their eggs are really good there. The prices are I get the pasture raised eggs at Aldi's and it's like $3.85 a dozen.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. When they put the Aldi's in right down the road for me, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Nice. Good job, Dawn. We're glad.
But I'm doing pretty well. I'm trying to get back on track.
Good deal.
We got this. And Dawn's just had some celebration season of life too. So we're all pushing right back in there. So we have new strength.
Yes, we've been for almost 4 years now. We've been waiting to finish the adoption process with this beautiful little boy. And it's been hard. If you've ever had to deal with state, custody, state, when they're involved, it's very hard. But
blessings.
God has been very, very good. And the judge yesterday, she's a believer. I could tell, and just some of the things that she said, I was like, this is just, God is so good. So
yeah, absolutely.
God is good. There's no accident. We're all together. So So Susan, are you available to come and jump in? Or are you tied up? There you are. She just don't want to come and see us. What the heck?
Yes, she is. There she is.
Come on, you
She
got.
doesn't want to talk, but she.
Oh, I forgot.
There you
There
go.
you go. Come on in. Tell us how you're doing, Susan.
I'm doing okay. I think I backslid a little bit, but I'm doing okay.
Okay.
I'm curious about the salt. I probably don't eat enough, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to get enough.
Most of us will find you're either a drinker of the salt or you're a food salter. I'm a food person. He's a water person. I don't like my water messed with. I like good, fresh, clean water, but I can scrape salt off my food when I
Oh
eat
my
it.
gosh, it's nasty.
But I can't drink it. So it's when you find what works for you, or do a little bit of both if you need to. But you got to get that salt in you. And I am telling you, all of us have had
Magic.
beat in our heads of how many times of don't increase you're a heart patient. You can't have the salt. I'm telling you, it was one of the toughest lessons to learn, but one of the most rewarding lessons to learn. Again, I got salt rocks ladies on my desk here every day. I mean, it's just all day, every day, but you still got to add those spoonfuls. Sprinkle it on. I mean, we don't even have shakers anymore.
No, it's a spoon.
All of our we have a bowl of salt that
It's
most of them have spoons in them. It's not a shake it on anymore. It's
not a pinch.
There's none of those cute little fancy pinches that they show you doing. Yeah, no, it's a scoop it. Pile it on. So do it because the brain fog, the Charlie horses, the headaches, the just so many things that it takes care of that you don't even realize is a problem that you can fix. So
I mean, I went 72 hours on a fast and in 90-degree heat, 90+ degree heat, and I never had one cramp.
I mean, yesterday I think it was 96. So I mean, it's hot and it's muggy. So he's dry.
But I doubled and tripled my saltwater intake. So I knew that I was going to get dehydrated. I knew that the temperature was up. I needed at least 80. I think I did 120. When it was 96, I did 120 ounces of salt water. So that was 3 of my big tall jugs.
That's great.
But yeah, your body will tell you when you had enough salt.
Oh, so just pile it on until you're
gonna have to increase it to your taste, and your taste will have to change over time. So you need to increase a little bit till you get to that point where it's, man, that's almost too much salt, and just back it down a little bit from there.
Your body will tell you. It'll be like,
if it doesn't work when you back it down a little bit, then you'll have to back it down a little more. But you're gonna have to play with that level until you get your body used to it, or your body gets used to that intake.
And then you can push again.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Is there something to aim for?
There isn't, because there is it's one of those things. Everybody wants a dose, and there is no dose for sodium. So it's perspective to everybody. How active are you? How hot are you? How much do you move? How healthy are your cells? I mean, everything pertains to sodium. Every muscle move, every contraction of a muscle takes sodium. Everything going on in your brain takes sodium. Every cell regeneration takes sodium. Everybody is so different in it that some people, a teaspoon or a tablespoon is a lot. But there's some of them, I mean, we literally buy the 20-pound bags because I'm one of Redmond's affiliates, so I get a coupon,
25-pound
every
bag.
quarter, and I buy a 25-pound bag every quarter. I mean, it's just, that's how much salt we go through.
Yep.
I mean, but it's a mindset.
It's something you'll have to play with and find where your rhythm is. Because I salt my coffee too. I have a coffee in the morning and a coffee at noon, and it's black coffee and a tablespoon of salt, or not a tablespoon, a teaspoon of salt. And I do that on top of my 40-ounce with about a tablespoon of salt in it.
Okay.
So that's every day, but again, I'm very active, so I'm using up minerals quick.
So I mean, so think about it. There's what, 16 tablespoons in a cup. So a fourth of a cup is 4 tablespoons. So he's having about a quarter cup of salt a day, a quarter cup, not a quarter of a teaspoon, a quarter of a tablespoon. He's having a quarter of a cup.
I say every time I have a coffee, it's a teaspoon of salt. I mean, that's what I do. 20 ounces of coffee and a teaspoon of salt.
So, and you add the 40 ounces with the tablespoon in it, and I mean, just that it's so much more than anybody anticipates.
Yep.
It's just a visual.
And I have not got to the point yet where my body says, "Hey, that's enough salt." I haven't got to that point yet. So I know what I'm doing is working right now, but I also know that as I get in a situation where I know that I might dehydrate, I have to have more salt. That would be the other reason why I came home and I grab another 40 ounce full of salt. You know what I mean? And, 2 and 3 during that hot day, because I can't have like a Gatorade or electrolyte or anything that they would have at work that I could grab. I need to have it on me because, I can't put that in my system. So I got to have it. Even if I don't drink it all, at least I have to have it there.
And that is
So that helps with fluid retention as well?
absolutely.
Okay.
If you're holding fluid, that's your body saying it's not enough. It's holding on to it because it's afraid it's not going to get enough. So it's storing it. We want your body to say, hey, I got enough of this. It can pass through like it's supposed to. It can go.
Okay.
And when you get to that point, you may make a lot of trips to the bathroom. I mean, it's amazing.
Yep.
But
Okay. That's interesting.
I will say my kidneys are flushed.
It is. There's just lots of lessons in that. And
Yep.
Sodium is most of the time, if you're having any type of issue, brain fog, headaches, migraines, Charlie horses, all of that.
You're dehydrated.
You're dehydrated and need some more salt. I mean, it's usually the quick, easy fix to 90% of keto problems. Keto flu is not enough sodium in water.
Next time you get a headache, try having some salt water or try sucking.
I don't get headaches anymore. And
Yep.
so it's hard for me to tell. I don't get headaches.
Good.
There was a time when I would get headaches, but I know it was dehydration. I just didn't know. But not anymore.
I love it.
Good job.
We got this, tribe. We really do.
Yeah, just play around with that until you find your sweet spot and then roll with it for a while.
All right. Did we get everybody? Any questions over there? How you doing on
YouTube is very, very quiet.
YouTube is so quiet. Who's over there that doesn't
There's like 3 people.
no one talks to us on YouTube? What the heck? Come and say hi. Tell me who it is. Okay, so announcements, let's run down through them. Classes, no classes next week, but we will start fresh again the first week of July. Hack Your Health code JTK. The price is going to go up July 1st. If you're still on the fence about getting a ticket, get your ticket, save that $100 off the entry fee. Get it now because the price is going to keep going up for Hack Your Health in November. So get your ticket now, but it's going to continually go up. So next price increase July 1st. Classes. What else?
Support group next week.
Yes, support group will be.
We will do.
Week. And thank you guys again.
Yes, thank you for all the love and prayers.
For in that group and share your numbers over there. And thank you for cheering my boy on. He just thinks it's cool, but he has 20 something likes on his posts.
That's funny. So now I'm confused. No classes next week, but support group next week. What do we show up for?
Okay, for you guys, the classes, because there's 5 weeks in this month. So we only do classes 4 weeks each month. So there's 5 weeks in July. So next week will be the 5th Tuesday. So we won't have classes on Tuesday. You will show up for Wednesday at 7:30.
7:30. Okay.
For this.
Yep.
All right. And I was confused because July starts on Tuesday. So you're taking the first, got it.
First week off, and then
now you got it.
So we'll have holiday
I see it.
off.
It just clicked.
I don't understand.
Okay, so you know what? I might be saying that wrong. June has 4 weeks. July has 5, and I'm taking the first one instead of the last one off.
Yeah,
there you go.
Fine. I got it. Okay.
All right. That's my bad. I said that wrong. That's my fault. I screwed that up. So sorry about that. So let me rephrase that.
Thank you.
June had 4 weeks. I am taking the first
because it has 5 weeks.
It has 5 weeks in July. You are so right, and thank you for catching that. But everybody have a great week. We love you guys, and we will be over in the group.
Yes.
So go over there. Anybody else too? I know a couple newbies that are trying to get into those old classes, the old groups that we had for the
The old
beginner,
Facebook group.
the old Facebook groups. We're trying to get those shut down so that everybody is in one big group until we get you
I
over
think
in
Lenny
one.
asked for
Okay.
one too.
Lenny, was that you? I know I've seen some coming in on the beginner. We used to have the Facebook groups broke down into the beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and now we put everybody into the one because we are building our own private little group on our coaching platform. Again, it's just taken us a little bit longer to build that because when we bought into our own private little group, we didn't realize we had to build it. So we are building and learning to build. So that we will get there. And as we do get that built, all of our coaching people will get moved into that private course. So you won't have to be on Facebook. You won't have to be on anything. It will be part of your course.
Be like a little community on our course platform.
And as we move forward and we bring, especially with Maddox now, we're going to jumpstart our Healthy Kids program again. And we're going to be able to put the kids into that program on our private dashboard that nobody else can get in. So we know it's only our people. So if anybody wants their kids to come in, this will be a safe community for the kids to come and interact, that we don't get the creepers and we're not going to get the stupid messages and the, hey, come and be our OnlyFans thing and all the feet pics and all the fun stuff that we get behind the scenes that everybody checks on. So we are trying to get everybody in our paid courses over into the private courses so nobody has to deal with that stuff. So that's what we're working on, and we're trying to get you there. So in the meantime, everybody needs to be over in Healthy Families Begin at Home.
That's our
That's where we are every day. That's where we will be. So everybody have a great week. We will see you guys next week on
Love you guys.
Love you guys. Thanks.